Walking with Dinosaurs is back and coming to our screens in 2025. It's been 25 years since the original came out in 1999. We've had to wait a quarter of a century for this moment. And I don't know about you, but we're super excited for it. So without further ado, let's get into it. What can we expect from Walking with Dinosaurs 2025?
Well, so far all the news sounds extremely promising. Now, to begin, this is not a remake.
Right, okay, so it's not going to be a remake
of the original one.
Okay.
No, this is completely new, it's a fresh story. Now, we're going to be getting 6 episodes.
6?
6 episodes, that's right.
Wow.
And they're going to be 1 hour long each.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, exactly. I thought that's a nice amount of time for each episode. Half an hour can sometimes feel a little too short.
Yeah, it can go too quickly, I think, sometimes.
That's it. So 6 episodes of 1 hour long, that's going to be really substantial. And each of these episodes is going to focus on a real dinosaur. So these dinosaurs are ones that have been discovered and worked on by paleontologists. And the story will follow us along with these dinosaurs. Now we know about 3 that will be definitely featuring in the Walking with Dinosaurs series.
Yes.
So, what are they?
Well, the most exciting one I think that everyone is hyped up about is the Spinosaurus.
Yes.
So we're going to have one episode that is dedicated to a Spinosaurus from Morocco.
Wow.
It doesn't give much else away. So we're going to be following this dinosaur on its journey through its life, I expect. I mean, Spinosaurus, everybody loves Spinosaurus. And I'm quite shocked because I thought, you know, not a lot of dinosaur documentaries will put Spinosaurus in because I think they're scared that it's going to be outdated the next day.
Yes.
And they find something else about it and think, oh, it's not accurate
That's exactly
anymore.
what I was going to say, because of the controversy over Spinosaurus, you know, its look and its appearance, you know, it could feature in the Walking with Dinosaurs, and then suddenly new discoveries could blow it out the water.
Well, it just keeps changing. I mean, the most recent thing was the tail, the tadpole-like tail, and the postures change, the bodies change, even the sails change. It's more like an M shape now, isn't it? Instead of just a semicircle sail. So it's constantly changing this dinosaur. So they've been quite brave to put it in, but I think they've done the right thing because, you know, Spinosaurus is a very popular dinosaur. It's going to bring a lot of people in. And yeah, it's just going to be great to see Spinosaurus on the big screen.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the actual design that they go for and see the story of this Spinosaurus.
I'll be interested to see the pattern that they give it, because Walking with Dinosaurs, I love the patterns that they give the dinosaurs. They're very good at doing that, so I can't wait to see what they do with that sail. Yes, it's going to be a really good episode. I think that might be the most popular episode that they do, you know.
Definitely.
It's going to do really well.
However, another favourite has been confirmed. I mean, it had to make an appearance, I suppose.
Of course it did.
And of course we're talking about T-Rex.
Well, this episode is actually going to focus on a young triceratops that is being hunted by a T-Rex. So we're going to be following the triceratops on a journey. And I don't know what they found in the fossils. Maybe this young triceratops got injured or something. Because you can tell sometimes with the bones, when the bones have been broken or scarred.
You can see the
predators.
teeth marks in the bones sometimes, can't you?
Sometimes you can see where it's healed. So I'm wondering whether this young triceratops was, I don't know, maybe it survived or maybe it didn't, I don't know.
I'm sure we'll find out.
But yes, T-Rex will be making an appearance, but he won't be the star of the show. He will actually be the Triceratops, and we'll be following this young Triceratops on his journey through North America in the Cretaceous period.
I think that's great, because usually it always focuses on the predator, but this time we're focusing on the prey, and you know, this grueling experience of living in the prehistoric Cretaceous period in North America, where it's so difficult to survive. You've got these huge lizards, the tyrant lizard king, if you like, hunting them down.
It'll show a good perspective, this, because think of yourself as being this young Triceratops. You're not fully grown yet. You don't have the horns or the gear to protect yourself with yet. and there are these monsters lurking in the jungle, in the forest, and you've got to try and survive. So it's going to be quite,
It'll be an eerie, creepy scene and scary as well.
I can't wait for it. I think this is going to be 60 minutes. So we're going to follow this Triceratops, on this journey. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be a great, great story. And the last animal that we have is not the last animal.
The last one that we know about.
We only know about 3. So the third one that we know about is the Luso Titan. I hope I've said that right.
Luso Titan.
But this is a type of sauropod. It's actually a type of brachiosaur from Portugal in the Jurassic period.
Lovely.
Don't know much else about this story. I've never heard of this dinosaur before. But it looks really promising, these 3 stories that we've got so far. And we're travelling in different time periods, the Cretaceous, the Jurassic, and also around the globe. We're going to Portugal, so we're going to Europe, we're going to Africa with the Spinosaurus, and of course we're going to North America as well. So maybe the other 3 episodes that we don't know about yet, that could be going South America, Antarctica, Australia, or maybe Asia, who knows? Or maybe even the oceans, because we did have an ocean episode in the original Walking with Dinosaurs.
Yes, I suppose that would be swimming with
oversized Liplorodon that was 25 metres long. Oh, God. But yes, so I'm really looking forward to it. I think they've done this on purpose, though, because they want us to speculate now what these 3 episodes are going to be. So
you've just said we know where we're going. We're going North America, Morocco and Portugal. Where would you like to see us go in the other episodes, or what other dinosaurs would you like to see feature?
I'm going to say I'd like to go to Asia. I want to go to Mongolia. And I know this has been overdone, velociraptors, but I'd love to see velociraptors on the screen again. Maybe follow a family or a pack. And just see the other animals in their environment, like the Mongolian Titan, the Tarbosaurus. Just see the whole ecosystem of that kind of area.
Yeah. Mongolia is such a cool area, and like you say, it's got the classic velociraptor there, and the Tarbosaurus.
I know it seems like such a cop-out going, I want to see a velociraptor again, but I can't get enough of velociraptor. I do like the raptors, they're really cool, and I'd just love to see like a story, because this is what Walking with Dinosaurs does so well. It follows a group of dinosaurs or one individual on its journey, and I think seeing a pack of velociraptors working together and the challenges they would face, rearing their young, going out and hunting prey, I think it just would be fantastic. But now I'm going to ask you, where would you like to go back in time?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because there's so many places, and there's also places that I'm not too sure about. Like I don't know, particularly dinosaurs from certain areas. But I would have to go for South America. I do remember.
Good choice.
I do remember an episode. I think it was Planet Dinosaur, where the Mapusaurus was hunting the Argentinosaurus. I always remember this as being an epic scene, and I really enjoyed seeing Mapusaurus on the screen. Now, I know it's been done, but it was really good, and I think that Walking with Dinosaurs could recreate this scene or a similar scene and do it even better.
And you'd be seeing the largest dinosaur to ever live, the Argentinosaurus. And I know we saw the Walking with Dinosaurs production team do it with Nigel Marvin when he was weighing the Argentinosaurus. And I think to see a more paleo-accurate Argentinosaurus, because I think at the time, it was good for the time, but as science progresses, you get to know the dinosaurs better. And I think seeing an Argentinosaurus now, what it would look like, and the Mapusaurus, of course. Well, it could even have Giganotosaurus in there as well. Yes, South America. It's just a land of giants. It's a great time to go back and visit. That would be on one of my lists. If I was to go back in time to actually go on a dinosaur safari, I think that would be on my top list to go to.
You've essentially got the biggest dinosaurs to ever walk the earth. You've got the biggest theropods and the biggest sauropods.
Yes.
It is a land of titans, if you like.
It is.
So South America would definitely be on my list.
So you're saying South America to see the Mapusaurus and the Argentinosaurus, and I'm saying Mongolia with the velociraptors. But let us know what you think in the comments down below. Where would you like to go on these 3 other episodes that we don't know about yet? Where would you like to go? What animals do you want to see? Do you know what, though? I like how they put in this type of brachiosaur, this Luso Titan. I've never heard of it before, and that's what I like because, and Portugal as well, of all places, you know, you wouldn't think of Portugal being somewhere where dinosaurs are, but I like they're doing other places because, you know, you've got the classics, but going somewhere else and teaching us about new dinosaurs, I think is a good thing. And I hope one of these episodes also does that as well, like another one of these that we don't know about yet. I hope that we go maybe to, I don't know, like India or somewhere in, you know, in the middle of Asia.
Yeah, exactly, because you kind of
somewhere that we don't really know.
Yeah, you associate dinosaurs with North America, Europe, but there's a lot of dinosaurs out there that we don't know about. You know, there's so many dinosaurs, but a lot of these series do revolve around the classics: T-Rex, you know, the big sauropods.
It's just nice to see something different because, like on Prehistoric Planet, there were some dinosaurs that I'd never heard of before, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know these animals existed. And then you see them and you think, wow, you know, I'm glad they put that in rather than just focusing purely on T-Rex and the others. But I do love T-Rex, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we can expect to see. We've got 6 episodes, we know 3 of them.
And there's no puppets in this series.
That
Obviously,
is what the rumour is, yes. There's going to be no puppets, it's going to be all CGI. And do you know what? I did like the puppets from the old show.
Yeah.
I think it just grounded it a bit more. It felt more real. But CGI is getting so good now. You know, you can hardly tell what's CGI and what isn't these days. It depends what their budget is. Prehistoric Planet had a very good budget and the CGI was absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I'm a bit gutted about the puppets.
it's almost like it's like character, isn't it? The character, you can see that they are puppets, but they do give them that more realness because they do look like you can touch and feel them if you reach out and like grab them.
It's just little things, like even with the Walking with Beasts, they've used like the Indracithir mouth to be drinking from the side of the lake, and they just focus on that bit of the mouth, and it looked so real. It made you think, wow, this feels like I'm actually watching a real animal here. And like the T-Rex, they did a bit of the T-Rex's jaw, and it just touched the meat that it was trying to get the babies to, you know, it was trying to show the babies, this is food, you can eat this. And it just, I don't know, it just made it feel much more grounded and much more real. So, but, I don't know, the CGI now is fantastic, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it looks when it comes out.
I have no doubt it's going to look spectacular.
Yeah.
I think it's going to look really good.
Yeah, I am very optimistic about it. I'm not dying in a ditch over the use of puppets, but CGI, you know, if it's good, then I am happy.
Yes.
Another question. Now, the original Walking with Dinosaurs, one of the most classic things and nostalgic things for myself is the narrator.
Of course. Yes.
The classic voice of Kenneth Branagh is obviously narrating the original Walking with Dinosaurs. Now, what do we know about the narrator of this new Walking with Dinosaurs?
We know absolutely nothing at this point. No, there's not been anything confirmed. I hope they do bring him back because I think, like you say, the nostalgia, you're going to watch that and people from our generation are going to go, oh, and go straight back to your childhood and just...
Yeah.
Oh, reminisce. It's going to feel great. So I hope they do bring him back because I can't imagine anyone else doing it. I mean, you've got great narrators, you know, David Attenborough doing Prehistoric Planet. Great narration, but I just don't think it will be the same. You've got to get Keith back in. Kenneth, sorry. Who
the hell's Keith?
God. I'd like to take this moment to apologise to all Walking with Dinosaur fans. Sorry, Kenneth Branagh. I can't believe I got the name wrong then. But yes, I think we need to get him back in there because that voice will just take us all back to our childhood. So yeah,
Well,
but we've not heard anything though yet. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we don't know. I can literally hear his voice in my head.
I can, yeah.
It's living in there. Like I just close my eyes, I can see the Walking with Dinosaurs, the original. And I can hear him speaking.
Yeah. And I didn't know that was the guy that played what's his name?
Lockhart.
Gilderoy. I can't even say his name in Harry Potter.
Kenneth Branagh plays Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter.
Yes. I didn't know that was him. Yeah. Well, I didn't know until
of course,
first, but yeah, flipping heck. So yeah, hopefully we get him back to narrate, because that would be the cherry on top of the cake.
It really would. I think, it's funny that, because the narration, you wouldn't think that it would be that much of a thing.
It does.
But it really does. Like, especially
it carries you through the journey.
Yeah. Especially with him being the original. It's just, for me, it makes sense. It has to be him.
It has to be, yes.
I will be a little bit gutted if it isn't. But we'll see what happens. We don't know anything yet.
Another thing I want to talk about is that this is going to be a story. And that's what I think is going to be most exciting about this. Prehistoric Planet was fantastic. The CGI was great. The dinosaurs were very paleo accurate. Got some beautiful scenes, but it was just scene after scene after scene after scene.
Yeah.
And with this, we're going to be actually going on a story. It's going to be storytelling.
Yeah.
And that's what I like so much about Walking with Dinosaurs. That's why it's such a good show, because you're watching, like, the sauropods, the Diplodocus, growing up and getting old and getting attacked.
You've got like an emotional connection with the characters and the dinosaurs that you're seeing.
It's like the opening scene of Prehistoric Planet, the first one, with the T-Rex swimming. Oh, I was shocked. I was like, oh my god, a T-Rex swimming. You see all these babies. One gets eaten by the mosasaur. And then they get on the beach. They're all practicing hunting, hunting the turtles. The dad's eating the big turtle. And then it goes off. And I think, I want to find out what happens to that family. I want to see, the dad's going to have to swim back to the mainland with these these 4 chicks. He's going to make it back. Are all the chicks going to grow up? What's going to happen?
You want to see the end of the story.
Yeah, that's what I think was lacking from Prehistoric Planet. I think we need a story. We need to follow, an animal on its journey through life. And I think that's what we're going to get here. With Walking with Dinosaurs, because that was the only thing I think was lacking from that.
Yeah, and I know, I completely agree. And we've got 1 hour episodes, which makes that completely possible.
You're going to really become attached to this individual.
That's it. You've got 60 minutes there of, either watching, like we say, the Triceratops we mentioned before, a young Triceratops, growing, taking on the the challenges of the Cretaceous, coming across a T-Rex, then maybe recovering from his injuries. There's so much that we're going to see him go through, and we're going to see it all within an hour, and it's going to be a good story of his life, essentially.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's what Walking with Dinosaurs does well. I do agree with Prehistoric Planet. Like you say, you can feel a bit cheated sometimes, where you get invested in this dinosaur.
And the scene's so good, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see a bit more of him, and then it's off. Oh,
see you later.
Like when the T-Rex mated, and then that was it. And I think, I want to see the female lay her eggs. I want to see the eggs hatch. I want to see her rear the young. I was like, I want them to come back.
Good,
I want to see.
Just, you want more.
Yeah,
you're left wanting more.
One thing they did do well, Walking with Dinosaurs as well, after they'd done the show, they did a spin-off, which was The Bald of Big Al.
Bald?
Sorry, I do apologise. I mean the Ballad of Big Al.
That's it. I was thinking an allosaur with hair loss. Surely not.
Where did I get bald?
The Bald of Big Al. That's a completely different episode.
The story of an allosaur that loses his hair and has a midlife crisis. Oh god. Anyway, back to it. What we were saying. What was I on about now? Yes, the Ballad of Big Al, and that was just focusing on this one allosaur, which was an actual individual animal, and he had a hard life.
Yes.
I think he broke his toe.
His foot was completely... He got infected, didn't it?
His foot, like the toe, I think it was the middle toe, all the bone was just swollen up.
Yeah.
And they were saying this animal would have been limping, you wouldn't be able to hunt.
Yeah, because there's a huge, it's not a growth, but the bone is just so raised and enlarged on that middle toe, isn't it? Which just shows how bad that would have been. I mean, imagine,
it must have been killing to watch.
Imagine one of your middle toes like growing like 3 times its size,
Oh.
and rubbing. You've got like your blisters and you're rubbing your shoes. Imagine that, but like 10 times as bad.
It's hard life being a dinosaur.
He needed a pair of trainers. Big Al
But
did.
I think that's what's good. They focused on this actual skeleton. They thought, oh, do you know what? We're going to recreate this dinosaur's life. And that's what they're going to be doing here. And that's what's going to be so good. Yeah. Now, one thing I hope they do as well, that I'm going to bring up, is I hope that they have some grit and some violence. I don't mean to sound like a bloodthirsty...
Don't say the V word.
I don't mean to sound like a bloodthirsty psychopath. But I do want to see a bit of gore.
Yes.
And I know that might be a bit, we want kids to watch. But we watched it when we were kids, Walking with Dinosaurs, and there was a lot.
Look at you.
Yes, look at me. Perfectly sane, perfectly fine. But I do think that they need to show a bit of this because dinosaurs were violent. Look at the teeth. Yeah. Look at the claws. Look at the horns, the weapons that they've got. These animals would have fought. And I know Prehistoric Planet was trying to show that dinosaurs aren't movie monsters. They are actual animals. But the other day, I was watching a video of a giraffe drinking peacefully by a watering hole. This huge bull elephant walks up to the watering hole and stabs the giraffe with his tusk in the gut. And I just thought, animals today are very, very violent. Sometimes for no reason. Like
brutal.
This bull elephant was just in musk and it just, get out my bang, stabs a giraffe, disembowels the giraffe. I thought, flipping heck. I was like, I can't believe it. And then, you think about what dinosaurs would be capable of.
Yeah, and that's herbivore on herbivore. That's not even predator and prey.
Imagine a T-Rex.
That bull just thought, I don't want you near my watering hole. And gutted him.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, that's what they should be putting in this. I hope they don't tone down the gore.
Yeah.
Because they were very... There was some very gory scenes in Walking with Dinosaurs.
Like you say there in Africa with the giraffe and the bull elephant, you've got these scenes where you see lions taking down these buffalo and antelope. And some of those scenes are absolutely brutal.
The lion's just dripping with blood all over its face.
You've seen these huge buffaloes as well when they're taking them down. I remember one scene, and the lions, pull it down to the ground, and the buffalo stays there for a while. He's getting his breath, and the lions think they've got it. They've successfully hunted this buffalo, and he's given up, and they're gonna tuck into a nice meal now. And then suddenly the buffalo just rises to its feet again and goes, "Not today."
Finds the strength from somewhere.
Not today. Picks up, but its skin, all of its hide is ripped to shreds with the claws from the lions. It's bleeding, and it kind of just shoves off the lions and says, "I'm off. Get out of it." And then he runs off and survives. Now that is brutal. Now, if you think of that scene, now look at the animals that lived in the dinosaur time and how much more brutal this would have been. Imagine that same scene with a sauropod and a theropod.
Yeah, imagine a team of T-Rexes bringing down an Alamosaurus, and they think they've got it, and then the Alamosaurus just rises to its feet, dripping with blood. It's like, not today. That's it. But that's what I want to see. I want to see a bit of... I know it sounds a bit thingy, saying you want to see a bit more blood, but it makes it more realistic because these are animals, and this is what they would have done. And I know Prehistoric Planet was trying to go that way. Like, there was a few scenes when they were doing hunting. I can't remember the dinosaur's name. It was one from Asia, and it was hunting these feathered dinosaurs with bright blue on them. Do you remember this scene? And they have a bit of a crest on top of the head, and it's hunting them. And it's a great stalking scene, building the tension. It reminded me of a tiger hunting deer.
Yeah.
And then as it grabs the prey, it falls behind a tree.
Yes.
To conceal the violence. Yeah. But I'm like, no, please show us. I want to see it. You know what I mean? I think it just makes it that much more real. And you think, these animals, the power they had, like the jaws of Tyrannosaurus, what it could do. I mean, think of the hunting scene, when it's hunting in Walking with Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And it hunts that huge, I can't remember what it was, it's a duck-billed dinosaur. And just the noise the bone crunching as it bit it, and then you hear it squealing, and it's just, God,
it really hits home.
That's what it would have been like. That's what it would have been like. It would have been very, very dangerous and frightening
because
to be around in those
the violence and the blood and the gore, like you say, is part of the story. You can't have the whole story without having the violence and that element to it, and the grit and the gore, as you put it, because that's what would have happened, and that's part 3. You can't, read half the book, and you've got to have all of it, and that's painting the full picture. Which I agree. I want there to be the blood and the gore from the original Walking with Dinosaurs.
So I hope they don't go too, soft on it. Do you remember that scene with the ichthyosaur that's just given birth, and she's at the surface breathing?
Yes,
and the Lyclorodon bites her in half, and you just see the tail sinking to the bottom of the ocean. I was shocked I was like, oh my God, but it felt so real. It felt like it was a threat. It was like, oh my God, this animal has the force to actually bite through this animal in half. It was
because, like you say, with the T-Rex, with the crunching of the bone, as well as just it being violent, it's also telling us how forceful that bite is. It's given us a visual and audio impression of how strong that dinosaur is.
How strong its bite is, because it's famous for its strong bite.
It's
so to hear that crunch and then the dinosaur screaming its head off, because it's in agony, and it's just, it felt so raw and real. It felt like you were witnessing a real hunt.
That's it. It's one thing, the narrator telling you how powerful its jaw and its bite force is, but it's another thing to hear the bones crunching, the prey squealing.
It's like that scene in Prehistoric Planet. We see the triceratops that's been brought down by the T-Rex. And I think, don't tell me. Show me the T-Rex bring down the triceratops. I mean, I wanted to see that. You see him eating it and biting into it. And
I suppose you've got different, like Prehistoric Planet is clearly kind of want to keep itself available to a younger audience, perhaps, that there's not a lot of violence, but we'll have to see what direction Walking with Dinosaurs goes in. The original was a little bit violent, it had plenty of violence in it, so hopefully, if it continues on that same strand, we will get a bit of that, bit of grit and a bit of gore.
So there we have it. That's everything we know so far about Walking with Dinosaurs 2025. But do you know anything that we've missed out? Do you know any secrets about Walking with Dinosaurs? If you do, please share down below in the comments and let us know.
And make sure you subscribe to the channel for future updates and news on Walking with Dinosaurs 2025. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, please smash that like button and let us know if you enjoy these podcast episodes. We want to do plenty more discussing all types of topics. Let us know what you'd like to see on the podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode.